What's up, y'all? Welcome back to 3-Star Draw. I'm down south at 77, aka 3-Star Draw, and this here is an adult collector channel where we like to talk G.I. Joe classified, and sometimes we'll take a look at some other stuff that's not G.I. Joe classified that I'm into as well. We are talking about G.I. Joe classified today, specifically number 158, Alvin Breaker, Kibby. I always want to put an N in there and say Kibney, but it is Kibby. And I'm probably going to call this guy Clutch at some point during this review as well, because I have a tendency to do that. So he caused quite a bit of a stir over the weekend. He was street dated at Target for this past Sunday. For some reason, I did not have the idea when I was up most of Saturday night to get online and try to pre-order one. Never even crossed my mind, although I did go to a Target on Friday to see if I could buy him. Weird, right? And didn't cross my mind to try to order one Saturday night. So a lot of people got up, went to Target. Some people were successful, some people weren't. There was a big old commotion and a lot of upset people about trying to pick him up on Sunday. Due to that, people ordered him overnight, maybe screwed up the on-hand quantities. I don't know. All I know is that I have one ordered from Target from March that's supposed to be here Sunday or Monday coming. So hopefully that one will show up. It better. It's in transit. But so today I had to go into work a little early and finish the early thing and found myself driving by a Target, and I thought, you know what, I got time. I'm going to go in and check, even though the Target that I was going into, and it is my favorite Target, they said he was out of stock, not limited availability, got to pick him up in store, out of stock. Matter of fact, every Target that shows up in my vicinity said out of stock. So I go in, go back, and it's like 8:15, so they've been open for like 15 minutes. I go back, go to the toy aisle, look at the pegs are barren. There's nothing on the pegs other than the tag for G.I. Joe. They had a bunch of Jean Grey, the new Jean Grey, but wasn't looking for Jean Grey. So anyway, went and found an employee. I had the barcode. Somebody sent me the barcode a while back and was going to ask this employee if they had it. You know, be nice. Unfortunately, the employee I picked was somebody who English was clearly not a first language, and was just there stocking and whatever. Very nice, but couldn't understand what I was trying to ask. So she scanned it, took me over to the aisle, showed me the empty peg, and that's where we had a bit of a miscommunication. So, okay, thank you. And I went and found another employee, and they scanned it. And when the first employee scanned it, she showed me the scanner, and I could see that they have 6. They just weren't on the peg yet. And she didn't get what I was trying to ask. So I asked the other lady, she's like, well, this is weird. She's like, they're not over there? I said, no, if they're here, they're in the back. So she said, well, if you got a few minutes, I'll go look for you. And I said, I do. I'll be over here looking at the collector stuff. And I went over there and waited on her. And about 5 minutes later, she come out with a fresh case of Alvin Kibby. She's like, I think I found them. I think this is the one you're looking for. And a sealed case. Of course, I knew it was. So she opened it up, and 6 of them. She's like, you said you want 2, right? I said, yep, just 2. And I picked one up for me and one for somebody else. And I said, okay, thank you very much. This made my day. And got ready to leave. She said, all right, I'm just going to go put these on the peg right now. I said, well, if you do, you'll make somebody else happy, and nobody will have to go look for them for the rest of today. So I did get Breaker finally. So I got an extra Breaker coming, I guess. He's not going to be hard to find when this is all said and done. The Tiger Paw wasn't. Just But check your targets. Even if they say out of stock, check your targets because they are getting them. They're just, some of them are slow to get put out. And they have done the reset, which is weird. All the other stuff, it was on the clearance end caps. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at him. I'm happy to get this guy. I have the Cobra Island Breaker, and it's a terrible figure. My copy is. It's really loose. It barely stands up. So he's going to replace him on the shelf, and he's going to get the Ram cycle. Now, I may give him that cool motorcycle helmet. I don't know. Anyway, let's look at Breaker. You listen to me and my stories long enough. As usual, we'll take a look at the box here. Some people skip this step. I usually don't. Got your mass device logo down there with the canisters on it from the cartoon. Does not come with the bubble gum blowing head on there. I think it would have been neat if they put that one on there, but they didn't, you know, whatever. So got a nice portrait over here on the side blowing bubbles, and got his flip down computer screen there attached to his web gear. Seen this a couple times now. First saw it with Grunt. Looks really good. I like this little screen, but sometimes they don't want to stay up. Footlooses has a hard time staying up. And then back here, nice shot of him absconding with the element there from the meteorite and the volcano, just like we saw in the cartoon. Got some sky strikers flying around up here. Hey, does that mean we're going to get a sky striker? Probably not. There's the flip down computer, and then shot of his watch. We'll look at that. The rest of the box is pretty much little standard fare, same thing that we see on all of them. And when I say standard, this is the most like mediocre box on the market, and I'm surprised they didn't do the mass logo in like crayon or something. Here's his layout inside the tray before you pull him out, so you can see where everything's placed if you need to. Got some tape here, here, and here on the knife. So just looking at him in the plastic prison, looks pretty good. Let's see how he looks out of the plastic prison. Do have my Cobra Island Breaker over here. Just we'll do a little comparison of the two. I will probably wind up putting the new Breaker on the Ram cycle because this version of Breaker is awful. It's one of the worst classified figures I've got just because it's so loose. But anyway, so we'll get back to taking a look at this guy's accessories. And just for a little bit of disclosure, I don't really think you guys really need it or care, but it's been about 4 days since I filmed the first part of this video where I told you about finding Breaker in the store. Just now getting around to getting this guy open, but if I sound any different, I'm a little bit hoarse. I had a reunion. I had a high school reunion last night, and it was really loud in there, so you had to shout to talk to somebody, and I was shouting, talking to people all night. So if I don't sound quite as, well, quite the same, I don't know, as anything, but that's why. So we got this pistol with the box suppressor on it again. I'm kind of tired of this pistol and this suppressor, but I mean, it's not awful. It's just I wish they would give us some new ones. We've seen this a bunch of times, so no new ground here. It does come with this little knife. Pretty good looking little knife. It's got the gunmetal paint on the blade. Very pointy. Not, it's this thing's blunt. This is like a training knife. It's like a kid's scissors version of a knife. So that's not a knife. Backpack, we do get this backpack with him. Looks pretty good. I like you got these little antennas up here on top in black. A little handle over here in black. Does have a very long antenna that can move. Then over here you got this other, I'm calling it a handle for lack of any better terms. I don't know what else that would be. But another one on this side, black metal at the top. This antenna is pretty long, you can see. And just one point of articulation, but it does bend around. Then here on the back, this is kind of a more like retro looking backpack. I mean, like this looks like Doesn't look like dial tones. This looks like some really old kind of technology on this backpack. Sure, these antennas up here are really more modernized with these smaller antennas. Not a whole lot to see with it. Looks like it's got some buttons down there. I wouldn't say that's a keyboard, but just some stuff molded in, no paint or anything, just black. Then over here you got some more, I don't even know what to call those, just little circles and dashes. I'm guessing those are probably supposed to be some kind of buttons or something too. And then you got some rivets in the back, and it just really looks like a Vietnam era kind of backpack from that aspect. Over here on the side, there's your port for his hose to go into. Then on the back, I do like that they did paint this. This is like the skeletal frame that the backpack fits on, and you can even see up on the top and the bottom where it's attached there with the brackets. I like that. That's some good attention to detail. Then over here on this side, just more of the same, just little indentions and whatnot. So I don't know what it's all supposed to be, but it does give a better looking feel to it, because it is pretty plain. So then we do have the hose here, and this hose seems like it's thinner than others that we've seen. Same connection on each end, almost like a mushroom peg, but it's not really that thick on the edge of it there, so you can see that. Check out his helmet. Some pretty good looking helmet. Got your comms gear on there. That's where the hose goes into the back. I don't know if I would want to have a hose attached to the back of my helmet to a backpack that's going to have as much play in it as this is going to. But gray helmet, black accents, black highlights. Comm is very, very flexible, so you're not going to have any problem getting this on him or anything. Not a whole lot to the helmet. It does have some pretty decent looking sculpting on it, so it's not plain Jane. Here's our element case. See, that does open, and it's got a little peg system in it, so you can have the jar with or without the element in it. I think this is the same jar that the deluxe Mindbender set came with. And as far as the element, I'm guessing all the elements are probably going to look just like this, just in their various colors. The radioactive will be red, and then the heavy water will be blue, but it just does plug into the base here, and that goes on, fits on there pretty snug. I mean, it's no handle or anything on it, so he's going to have to tuck it like a football, I guess is the intention on these. So, just so you know, dim that just a little bit, see if that helps with the glare. So let's take a look at Breaker himself. Overall, pretty good looking figure. Not a whole lot to him. He is very muted, very plain, but he is not floppy, and doesn't appear to be. So you got his sheath up here. Of course, you got the A Kibney E4, because of course he's an E4. Half of G.I. Joe's an E4. And then flip down computer screen. You can remove this, but it's really hard to get back on. I removed one of the ones on Grunt. I've got a couple Grunts, and it's a pain to get back in there. You really got to heat this up to get it to go back in there. I like that they give him the Joe Pro. Bring the Joe Pro back. I'm a fan of the Joe Pro. Took a little bit of growing, but I do like the Joe Pro, and he's the first guy that's had one for a while. Web gear. Got some ammo pouches here, some other various pouches over here on the right side on the belt. The belt does have a couple extenders, straps, and the buckle is done in the same kind of gunmetal gray color that the knife is, which I like. I always like when they highlight that a little bit. Another pouch over here around to the back, and then he's got some plating here. Looks like he's got a Kevlar plate or ceramic, whatever. And then on here, you can see the molded in, like the cinch straps and stuff for the web gear. Looks pretty good overall. Got his holster back here on the back. I do like these holsters in the back, but it does make them hard to sit like flush into something sometimes. So like if you were going to put him in like the Fans Hobby Air Eagle, it might hit a little bit. Another plate back here in the back in that same gunmetal. Got some little sculpted rivets on there. And then he does have some leg pouches that are pretty much like just there for show. These look like maybe more ammo pouches here. And then just another whatever you want to go in there pouch down here. Let's see how his legs are. No issues there. Most of these figures are getting a lot better with their articulation not being really tight or really loose out of the package. Every now and then you'll get a few, but it's got boot cut down here, cinch strap on the boots. It's got the sheeting, whatever, protective thing over the laces there. They look pretty decent. Got some tread on the back. Let's see what they say about Breaker, made in China 2023 on this pair of boots at least. Drop down hips. I was thinking they didn't go down real far, but actually they do. Those are pretty good. He can sit down pretty well. Not all of them are that good. Of course, a lot of the problem with this figure over here is the drop down hips. Those early Cobra Island figures, they had a hard time getting those hips right. A lot of those figures are really loose. Barbecue's that way too, which sucks because I love the barbecue figure. So no problem there with the elbow joints. And then you get a bicep swivel with him as well. T-pose pretty good. No issue there. So that's pretty much all there is to the guy. There's not a whole lot of sculpting and detail work and stuff to point out on him. He's a pretty plain Jane figure, but he does look good in this gray. I do like it. The color scheme works. No issues on the face there. I don't see any problems with the paint. The eyes look straight. Nothing I can tell with the hair. Got this weird swirly gap there where I guess that's his part in his hair. I got this part here that runs right underneath my hairline, and anything happens to that, my hair just ain't gonna look right. Check out our bubblegum head. I like this. It's not removable. Kind of wiggles there. It kind of turns, and I don't want to pull on it too much because it may just be glued in. It's not meant to be removed. So you got the same thing over here with the hair. Eyes look pretty good. I can't tell any difference on the eyes, beard, everything. Pretty much exactly the same. This is why we all want this Breaker, right? I mean, for the bubblegum blowing head, Breaker was always chewing gum. And also because that figure's kind of janky. So before we put everything on him, this guy has not been off of this RAM cycle in a long time. He's probably pretty dusty. But so his drop down hips will go way down, but they go back up, and they just, the whole thing is just very loose. So get them side by side. Trying to look and see if there's any reuse in this guy. I don't think there is. The waist piece, I think, for sure. I don't know. I don't keep up with the reuse in these guys. I give up on trying to keep up with that a long time ago. This guy just, man, he will barely stand between the hips and the ankles, and he's just got that weird like bow-legged stance. But this up here, it's not a good figure. So let's see because I do dig the helmet that came with this one before we put his actual helmet on. That don't look too bad. The green does not match the gray at all. I'd like to have this helmet for him in the gray, but we didn't get that. We got this helmet with him. So he's blowing a bubble right into the microphone. Right into it. So you're going to have to do something with that microphone. I guess that's why they left it so flexible, but there's no way you're going to put this on here with this head sculpt and not have the bubble touching the microphone. So let's check that. Let's check that out with the other head. Probably if you're going to helmet him up, that's the one you're going to want. Looks good. Microphone sets where it should there. He's going to be really loud when he talks. You don't get anywhere to put this suppressor. That's kind of weird. See how his hands are? His trigger finger is really gummy, but that does make it easier to get on the weapon. Actually, at least they gave Breaker a weapon this time, because this guy, he was going to have to throw that helmet at somebody. You have a vertical swivel on the wrist, so he can actually hold the pistol. Look like he's actually aiming at something. And just for the sake of doing it, put the suppressor on there. But I don't see anywhere to store the suppressor. Oh, maybe right here. I missed that. No? That's like an empty pouch, but that's weird. Because it's, I mean, it fits on there. I guess that's where it's supposed to go, but you move him and it hits that. I guess that's what you're supposed to do with the suppressor. Seems like that should go all the way through. That's weird. I don't care for that. Sitting here looking for the pistol. It's still in his hand. It's been a long weekend, folks. So extended mag. It's going to hit his elbow, but I guess you can get around that. Let's see if the knife will stay in. Some of these knives on these vertical sheaths don't like to stay in. So it looks like his is going to go in okay. It's pretty loose. I don't trust that. Try it the other way, see if it makes any difference. Doesn't really seem to, so go ahead and check his backpack out. You don't have a bunch of overlays and stuff to go through on this guy for his backpack. Peg seems like it's going to be long enough. Yeah, it's not bad. It went in there pretty well. A lot of these, the pegs, the way the backpacks are made, or the peg is not long enough, or it's too high up. So it almost looks like it sets a little high up on him here, but that's not too bad. Let's plug our hose in, and then goes into the back of the head like he's plugging into the Matrix. Hope Cypher's not around. A whole lot of slack. I know a lot of times on these figures we've said that there's not enough slack, but I feel like this hose should have been half of this. But whatever, at least it works. He's got plenty of head mobility, turn his head around. Let's check him out, carting off the element here. And with the double jointed elbows, oh, there it goes, something's gonna fall. You can actually get a pretty decent grip on stuff like this until it falls out. He's probably radioactive now. You can have a glowing breaker and a glowing snake eyes. All right, see if we can get all that snapped back together. There we go. So you can get him like he's carting it off, running for the goal line. So there's Breaker. I don't know what I like better. I don't know if I like the no helmet with the bubble gum. I mean, you got to have him with the bubble gum, right? So we'll see if we can get him on the ram cycle. Goes on there pretty easy. I didn't try and get his feet in the pegs or anything, or on the pegs, whatever. So these guys with the pinless double jointed elbows makes a lot easier for stuff like this, and the softer plastic on the hands. So I kind of like that. I kind of like Breaker on the cycle, even though it doesn't match. It doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's still like a drab gray and a drab green, so he looks all right. He's definitely an improvement over this guy. This guy's just, the hips don't stay up, or the legs don't stay up in the hips. So, and I like this face sculpt on this Breaker. I didn't have a problem with any of that. I love the way this guy looked. He's just a poorly constructed figure. So this one goes over with him. So there's Breaker. We'll get a couple pictures of him here at the end. But I do like him. There's nothing fancy about him. I've not decided how all in I'm going to be on the mass device stuff. I think I've got, I don't have the divers ordered. So I don't know. I mean, I've got Snake Eyes. I got him. So if I'm going to collect it, I've got to order the divers too. I don't know. It's just kind of something I don't know if I need, unless it's a better version of something like Breaker is. All right, so what are my final thoughts on Mr. Alvin Kibby here? He is the okayest figure I've gotten for a while. Like, in a time period where we're getting Darkline, like Blowtorch, the firefighter, he is extremely boring, but he's supposed to be. He's from the mass device, from the cartoon, the first cartoon. All of these guys were pretty boring, and he does nail that look very well. He just, all that is really here for me to love with this figure is the bubble blowing head, and he's a much better constructed figure than Cobra Island Breaker, than old Floppy over here. So if you're collecting the mass device stuff, I mean, you got to pick him up. You know, if your bread and butter for Joe's is the original Joe's, the OG 13, then you would probably rather have this one than this one, and throw this one on the ram cycle, whatever you want to do. So he is a 3.75 yeehaws out of 5 for me. That's kind of on the upper end of the average before you start getting into good, really good, and great on the way that I look at them. So 3.75, he's worth picking up. So I got some more Joe stuff coming in this week, I think. Hopefully get some more videos out for you guys throughout the course of this upcoming week. I have a Rattler coming, I guess. I don't even know at this point. Like, I'm so over the Rattler. I'm not even sure if I'm going to do a video on the Rattler. Does anybody care at this point? Because it's hard. It's going to be hard to review because it's so big. So I mean, does anybody need to see another one? I don't know. But anyway, maybe I'll hear something about that this week too. It's frustrating. Not as frustrating as Cobra Island Breaker was. But anyway, that's it, guys. I will see you guys next time on 3 Star Draw.